Hello, everybody, and welcome to Weather Talk Weekend. I have two very special guests here in the KTK Plus studio with me. I have Braden Co and Tristan Van Bean. We are about to jump into heat because, y'all, it is hot outside. How are y'all doing today?
Hot.
I agree. Tristan, how you doing?
I'm doing well. It's a little hot in this room, but it's just like outside.
Listen, y'all, they're always on me because I keep it at a crisp 74 degrees in here.
She's
Crisp.
trying to save energy.
Yeah, it's the summer. I'm saving us a bill here at KTK. So, hey, I think that they should thank me. But Brayden, so we have you in here today because like we said, it's hot outside. Today we have a heat advisory. So talk to me a little bit about the weather outside just for today.
Yeah, absolutely. So the heat advisory, of course, that is going to be in effect today, Friday, through this afternoon and evening, and we'll continue to see those temperatures get up there into the 90s. The feels like temperature is the reason for the heat advisory. It's going to be feeling like it's above 105 degrees outside. So that's why we've got a lot of moisture in the air, all that humidity. That's what really gets that feels like temperature up there, and that's the main reason that we have that heat advisory.
Yeah, and I think it's good to note that this is being recorded on Friday, and that heat advisory will have expired by Saturday, which when you all will be seeing this. But we do want to generalize and talk about just heat in general because it's something that Texans actually go through quite often. It's normal. The average is like a 95-degree temperature here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This time of the year, July, the end of July into August, is typically the hottest time of our summer. So we're entering kind of the peak time for the heat here. So it's no surprise that, of course, we've been dealing with the heat the last several days, and we'll continue to deal with the heat the next several days here with those air temperatures potentially up there around 100 degrees again as we head into next week. So this is likely not going to be the last heat advisory that we have of the summer. So luckily we haven't seen any extreme heat warnings, but we certainly have had those heat advisories, and those heat index values have been up there for several days.
And we don't like that because then we have to take extra precaution, which is what we're talking about today. So I know that you have a couple slides here for us to see.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about what we are looking at here.
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, the heat advisory, that's what we are currently under by the National Weather Service. That's what we've seen so far this summer. And what that means, that advisory in particular, it's talking about this is either one of what these say. So it could be either a feels like temperature of 105 degrees or hotter, or you could see an air temperature of 100 degrees or higher. So what that means is the heat index could be up there around 105 plus degrees when you factor in that humidity. Of course, the air temperature could be 92 and you could have a heat index of 105. And so that is when the National Weather Service would issue, of course, that heat advisory. Or you could have an actual air temperature sitting at 100 plus degrees. And at that point, the heat index, of course, it still matters, but it doesn't matter as much because the air temperature itself is already at around 100 degrees. So there's a lot of different criteria. There's a lot of minute details that go into it, but the general rule of thumb is 105 heat index or higher, or an air temperature of 100 or higher.
That's hot. Like
Yeah.
you said, you opened up the show. It's hot. That's what it is. So, okay. So we're talking about heat and a heat advisory, which we're under today on Friday. But how often does Texas see these types of things? I'm from Arkansas, so a little bit farther north. But how often do we see heat advisories?
Typically, every summer we'll see a heat advisory, and more than once. And with that, there's another type of alert that does get issued, and that is known as an extreme heat warning. And so with those, you're talking about an air temperature of 103 or higher, and or a feels like temperature of 108 or higher. So that's whenever things start to get pretty dangerous out there, where you really don't want to spend a lot of time outdoors. That's when things like football practice becomes dangerous. Coaches have to take frequent breaks with the players. Any job sites, they need to, of course, have air conditioning on standby, a place where workers can go to get in the cool, in the shade, just something, because that's whenever stuff starts to get dangerous. And it's different here. You know, we've talked a lot about, well, it's a dry heat out in the desert areas of the U.S., and here it's a lot more humid. So with that, that makes a lot of difference. Now, of course, out in a place like Phoenix, it's still hot. Don't get me wrong, it's hot, but it's a different kind of heat. It's more like an oven heat, if you had to describe it. Meanwhile, here in East Texas, it's like you're walking into a sauna every time you go outside. So it's a lot different. There's a lot more moisture in the air, and so that makes you sweat. It's just a lot different, and it's a lot more dangerous because the heat index values are much, much higher. So in a place with a dry heat, you're talking about the air temperature and the heat index pretty much being the same number. But when you have a lot of humidity along with the heat, then you're talking about those heat index numbers being really inflated, a lot higher than what that actual temperature is.
Absolutely. And I put up a picture here or a video of the sun just because I feel like a lot of people also think that, like, if it's cloudy, it's not going to be that hot. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah.
So if we have cloud cover, we can still have a heat advisory, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And today would be a good example of that because we're going to have some clouds across portions of the area. And there's been many days in the past where we've had cloud cover and still seen those temperatures get up to about 95 degrees and a heat index of 105 or any, inflated number.
Yeah.
So it's been a thing in the past and it will continue to be a thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be just looking like that video shows where you don't have any cloud cover. It can absolutely still be super hot out there and dangerous, even with some clouds. And speaking of which, when it comes to sunscreen, that is another thing because even on a cloudy day, you can still get a sunburn.
Right. And I think a lot of people mistake that. And they'll go outside, they'll lay out, they'll have a really good day, and they'll come back and they're like, what happened? It's because it's still hot outside
Hmm.
regardless. I mean, you may not be getting direct heat, but I mean, it's still hot outside.
Yeah.
Okay. So I am going to throw us to a quick break, but when we come back, we'll continue to dive into the topic of heat here in East Texas, which we are no stranger to at all. But for now, like I said, I'll take you all to a quick break. We'll be right back. Now I'm recording. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back here to East Texas today on Saturday. If you all are watching on Saturday, but we're recording this on Friday, I feel like I should make that known. We're talking weather today with our meteorologist, Brayden Co., and one of our digital producers, Tristan Van Beam. And basically, our topic today is heat because, y'all, it is hot outside. I mean, it's East Texas weather. What can I say? That's typical. I guess you could say that, right, Brayden? It's typical for it to be hot.
It is typical, but that doesn't make it any easier. That's for sure.
Very
You
true.
still walk outside and you start
You want
sweating.
to turn around and go back
It
inside.
just takes all the energy out of you for sure.
It does. It
And
does.
with that said, we're going to be continuing to see heat, of course, even through the end of July into August. Typically our hottest month is in August. So by no means are we anywhere near done with that heat.
That's so sad because I have a wedding at the end of August and I'm probably it's gonna be on a rooftop and it's
Mhm.
gonna be super, super hot. But I do want to jump into a question that Tristan had. Tristan had a
Yeah.
question for you during one of our breaks, and I have to say this was a really good question.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so before the break, Braden was kind of talking about how there's differences in heat in different parts of the country. Like he was talking about how in Texas, it's more like a sauna heat. You walk in and you feel that just kind of like heavy air situation
Mhm.
going on. But then in Arizona, it's kind of more of an oven, and hopefully I'm describing that right. I
Yeah.
just wanted to know, does the difference between those kind of heats have any sort of implications, or are there any dangers that could come with those different kind of heats? What would we see if we were in those?
Yeah, absolutely. And by no means am I a medical expert. So this is just based off
With a grain of salt.
general knowledge here, but um it has to do with how much moisture is on your skin. So say whenever you're in the sauna type of heat that we see here in East Texas during the summer because of all the humidity. So what your body does, the reason why you sweat is because your body's trying to cool yourself off. Well, when you already have that layer of moisture on your skin because of the humidity and all that sweat, uh, you're not able to get rid of the heat. Your body's not able to get rid of the heat. So you tend to overheat faster. Meanwhile, in a dry heat, it's still dangerous, of course, because it's taking the moisture away from your body more quickly, especially whenever you are talking about those humidity values in the 10-20% range where it's just stripping that moisture off your body. So
Wow.
both of the scenarios have different implications, but the ideal scenario would be to have, a humidity value of about 40% or so. That would be ideal. But whenever you have it here in East Texas talking about, 80-90% humidity plus those temperatures that are up there into the 90s, then certainly are talking about the potential for overheating because your body just can't get rid of that moisture and or that heat quick enough because of all the moisture that's on your skin.
And
Wow.
that, like I said, that was a really, really awesome question from Tristan because it made me think it's about that air that you can wear, and,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't want to wear that air
We
at
don't.
all. But let's move on into some safety tips because a lot of
Yeah.
people, I mean, summer, it's known you're gonna be outside, you're gonna be at
Mm-hmm.
the pool, you may mow your grass a little bit more
Mhm.
often, or you're just enjoying the benefits of summer and sunshine for the most part,
Yeah.
which means a lot of people, like you said, are going to be outside. So talk to me, what are some safety tips that we can keep in mind before heading outdoors because it's hot and we need to stay safe while it's hot?
Yeah, absolutely. So, a general rule of thumb here, of course, is that you always need to take breaks whenever you're talking about, especially heat advisory and extreme heat warning criteria. If those are met, certainly need to be taking those breaks. But what that entails is don't wait until you're feeling lightheaded, you're feeling the heat just really kind of taking over your body. Don't wait that long. Make sure you're taking breaks. Be precautionary. Take those precautionary measures to avoid, of course, getting to the heat exhaustion and eventually heat stroke standpoint because that's just not good. We don't want that. And what breaks mean, go inside for a little bit, go into some air conditioner just for a little bit, let your body cool down. And then, of course, with that, while you're in there taking a break, drink some water. Make sure that you're, of course, uh, doing that. Make sure that you are staying hydrated. Make sure you are, of course, just not overdoing it. Make sure that your body is you're telling your body, you're listening to your body, you're making sure that you're just not overdoing it because that is never good. We don't ever want that. And your body always tells you whenever it needs something. So, as we look out there right now, again, those temperatures are up there. But something that I want to point out here on this tower cam is look at all that cloud cover that we have on there. And that's what we were talking about earlier. It doesn't have to be up there plenty of sunshine, just no cloud cover at all. So that is also something to point out because, especially in deep East Texas, we've had a lot of cloud cover. So that is certainly something to point out. But again, with all these tips here, make sure that you're listening to your body, make sure that you're drinking water, and don't forget that sunscreen. Even if it's cloudy outside, don't forget the sunscreen because it doesn't matter if there's cloud cover, it doesn't matter if it's nothing but sunshine. Sunscreen is important and it is something that can really help to prevent a sunburn, can prevent skin cancer, all that stuff. So the three most important things here: take breaks, drink water, and put on sunscreen.
And I think it's really good to mention that when you're outside, drinking water the day of isn't what you should like. You should be drinking water beforehand.
Yes.
Mhm.
We don't
Yes.
want to try to hydrate ourselves all in one day because drinking a lot of water at once also, like we said, we are not medical professionals at all. I want to say that very clearly. But drinking a lot of water, from what I've been told, it can at one time can have some problem, make your stomach hurt. So
Mhm.
drink that water now. Start now. If you're going to be outside and you're going somewhere over the summer breaker that you're going to be in a lot of sun or just outside in general in heat, start drinking water now so that you're not feeling that it doesn't come onto you so fast. I mean, because
Mhm.
I've heard a lot of stories of where people are going through heat related illnesses and it just happens all of the sudden is kind of how it says, like how they say it. But the fact is that they weren't hydrating. They were dehydrated before stepping outside, or that they were out there too long and they didn't listen to your body, like you said. And it's super, super important to listen to what your body says before heading outside and while you're outside. Braden, I feel like we dug into a lot for this section, Braden and Tristan. So I do want to take a quick break. And as you all see, this blazing sun is right there. And we're going to continue to talk about that after this break, because there's a lot of heat in Texas and it's heat all the time. So we want to make sure that you all are safe before heading out the doors. So once we get back, we'll have some more heat-related safety tips, as well as just a conversation about heat in East Texas. So stick around after this break. Well, hello, and welcome back to your Weather Talk Weekend show. I am joined today by Braden Co. and Tristan Van Bean, one of our digital producers. And you all, we were kind of giggling during the break. And if you all noticed, Braden stumbled just a little bit during talking about the heat earlier. It was because I was laughing because he said getting the air conditioner. Y'all, is that hot outside? Get inside the machine.
Get
Crawl inside
the air conditioner.
That was just so, I don't know why. It just cracks me up a little bit because it really is hot enough that I feel like sometimes I want to get in the air conditioner.
Or go in the freezer, or go to a gas station in the big cooler that
yes,
they have and
the
just
walk-in freezer
in there.
It's that hot that we're having to do that. But for real, y'all, nobody get an air conditioner. We don't want to be responsible for your safety or your injuries. This is not advice.
Don't do that.
This is simply us having just a little bit of fun here. But that was just so funny to me. It's so hot outside. Getting your air conditioner.
Get inside of it.
Get inside of it. Well, Braden, okay, we talked a little bit during the break about our pets because I myself have a dog, and I know that I've been given a lot of tips and tricks before heading outside when it's super hot, since we do have our furry friends and they have a layer on. They have a coat on all the time. So what are some tips that you all have to protect, or that you have to protect, like our animals when we're going outside?
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, with regards to how much time that you want to be spending outdoors with them, it really depends on that temperature. So if the heat index is 85 to 90, you don't want to go outside more than 20 minutes. So limit it to about 20 minutes. And of course, this is on top of making sure they have water. If they're panting a lot, just make sure that they are staying hydrated. And then here's a look at going forward towards the 91 to 103 heat index. No more than 10 minutes. You don't want to leave your pet outside for more than 10 minutes at a time. Keep those walks short in nature, especially. And also something to note too is the temperature of the concrete.
Oof.
Because
Yes.
we always, especially when the sun is out, this concrete really absorbs all that heat, so it can be 30, 40, 50 degrees hotter than what the actual air temperature is. And their feet are just like ours. So imagine standing barefoot on the sidewalk in the middle of the afternoon on a hot summer day. You can't do it for long. Your
No.
feet will burn, and that's exactly what happens with them. So we also have to keep that in mind. And then if that heat index is higher than 104, just very quick potty breaks, stuff like that. Don't do the walking, any of that stuff. Just keep it short and sweet. And if you do take them outside, that can increase the risk of heat illness and all that stuff. So make sure that you're keeping aware of what the heat index is outside, especially whenever you're taking your pets out, because that does have a lot of implications on, them being
Their
sick,
health.
them getting the heat illnesses and
Right.
stuff, because it doesn't take much.
It doesn't. And I think it's something that it's good to know is that just because they're dogs doesn't mean that they don't go through that. They go through heat-related illnesses just like us. Like I was saying, I have a dog myself, and what my veterinarian has told me in the past, and you all make sure you double-check me by going on Google and going to a .org or something site.
Whatever.
.web or something. Like, yeah, go to one of those sites. But Test the pavement by putting the palm of your hand on it for a second, or the bottom of your foot, like if you have a shoe that you can slide off. If you can't hold your hand or your foot on there for like more than 5 seconds, you should not walk them on it. Just pick them up. And I know some people have big dogs, so get across
Or
it
in the
fast,
grass.
or in the grass, and make sure that they don't have to go through anything that's super hot, because if we can't stand it, like Braden said, they can't stand it at all. And then another good tip is to have those little miniature water bottles that you can tote with you, because you never know, like they may need water. So just offer it to them here and there to make sure that they're okay, because like I said, they're wearing a coat already, and it's hot outside. I don't know about y'all. Do y'all have animals? Do either of you all have pets?
I do at home, back
Okay.
home, but at my apartment, I currently don't have
You
any.
don't? You should get one. I'm gonna advocate for
should.
you. I'm gonna advocate for both of
A
you all
nice
to get
little
one.
yeah.
therapy animal.
I wish I
need
had
it.
a dog right now.
We need it. Well, Tristan, I have some contacts that may can help you out with getting a dog. But I take my dog outside every single day. And my little girl, she's 10. I talk about her like she's a child. So y'all, she's 10 pounds, but she's only a year and a half old. So she's really small. Those small dogs, you have to make sure, and especially one
Yes.
with short noses, they can't get as like good of airflow as one with long snouts can. So when I'm walking her, she'll turn around and get ready to walk back inside. So we say listen to our bodies. Listen to your dog's signs as well, because they know when they're too hot.
Oh, absolutely.
And they'll say, "Hey, mom, dad, it's time to go back inside."
They may
So-
not say
sure.
it,
Oh.
but
Yeah.
if a dog said that to me, I'd be a little
Like
scared,
Scooby-Doo?
I would
but-
be so happy. I'd be like, "Oh my god, I can finally talk to her, and she'll talk back." I don't talk to dogs, but no, those are really like very, very important things to keep in mind with your animals, because their health matters too. Braden, you have great tips. Is there any more things that maybe we should know or keep in mind before heading out the door? I know we've covered a lot already.
Yeah, absolutely. And just for clarification, that's not just dogs there. That's also cats. That's
Oh, yeah.
any animal that
Yeah.
you have, of course. Even livestock. Make sure that they have a place to get cool. They can go inside a barn, something like that. Just any animal that's spending time outdoors needs to be taken well care of during this heat. But as
Right.
far as anything other than what we've talked about, just make sure that you're staying aware of what the forecast is supposed to be each day, because it can change from day to day. The general rule of thumb here is that it's going to be hot for the next couple of months here, but those heat index values can vary each day. And if we do have a day where we don't have as much humidity, then certainly it's going to feel a lot better outside. But definitely always make sure that you're aware of the heat index and make sure you're taking those precautions.
Absolutely. Well, Tristan and Braden, thank you so much for joining me
course.
today for Weather Talk. It's been awesome to get to talk to you all about the heat. It was a hot topic. What can I say?
It was.
It was.
It was,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I had to throw that pun in there. Okay. Nobody at home talk about me too bad. But y'all, we're gonna wrap up Weather Talk. Next up, you'll have some regularly scheduled programming. But thank you to both of you all for joining me today. Like I said, wrapping up this show, I will see you all on Monday here at 9:00 a.m. for East Texas Today, our morning show. So you all be sure to tune in. And I want to say, Braden does push out weather alerts, which you all can view online. So here is our QR code. Just scan that QR code. It will take you directly to our website, where you all can see like Braden's pushes or Carson's pushes or even John's pushes. So you all just make sure that you also have our app downloaded. A weather app is essential for this heat, because they send out weather advisories. So keep that in mind. But thank you so much for joining us today on Weather Talk. I will see you all again